The Bonderman Fellowship challenged me to look outside the world that I lived in. What can you do that you've never done before? What can you see that you've never seen? And what are you going to do that's going to change how you see the world and who you are?
I felt like there was an unknown world waiting for me, and I really wanted to kind of step into a place of uncertainty, ambiguity, and the unknown, and kind of push my own boundaries. It's a one-time thing for me, and it's a limited opportunity, and it was a massive gift that I was given. And the gift was not to have fun all the time, the gift was to get the experience with all of what it contained.
It was so bizarre to land in a country and know that no one knew I was coming. No one knew me in the entire country. I had no plans, really, other than my own. It was just a very, very different experience than I've ever had. And I was alone.
When you're on the road for that long on your own, you actually get pretty lonely. And it kind of encourages you to become a little more outgoing, meet new people, become more of an extrovert. It opened me up to a lot of experiences and a lot of interchanges that I wouldn't have had otherwise.
Thanks to a gift from University of Washington alumnus David Bonderman, the Bonderman Travel Fellowship supports UW undergraduate honors students and graduate students in extended independent travel. 14 Bonderman Travel Fellows are selected each year and are required to travel for at least 8 months to at least 6 countries in 2 different regions of the world. No research, work, or classes allowed. Since the program's inception in 1995, more than 140 students traveled to more than 140 countries. They return not just with unique experiences and breathtaking pictures, but with expanded views of the world and their place in it.
There was this Buddhist pilgrimage walk, and it's visiting 88 temples around an island, and it's been in existence for over 1,000 years. Some things that I wanted to sort of explore were nature and spirituality around the world, and so when I learned about this, I really wanted to walk a part of it. In 2 weeks, I walked 137 miles alone, and so suddenly everything became so simple. Drinking water was just so refreshing, sleeping was so good. Eating was just, everything just tasted, it was just flavorful.
Taking up really strong interest in the Middle East was something I never expected to gain out of this experience. It has that historical relevance, almost on a geologic timescale, but at the same time, the events that occur in those regions every single day have a ripple effect around the world.
As a naturalist and ecologist, I was really interested in the animal life, the wildlife. And South America is, probably got the most diverse wildlife anywhere. I traveled everywhere from, the Pacific coast to the high Andes to the Amazon lowlands, so I covered, a lot of terrain.
For me, music was the medium for exploration on this trip. I thought to myself, well, wouldn't it be cool if I could go to a country I've never been to before, where I don't speak the language, where I can barely even navigate around town, and find people who play music too.
I wanted to feel what people felt about climate change, and then I wanted to do something with that. We would talk so much about Bangladesh just in environmental studies classes, and realizing, just seeing the challenges they face every day, and then knowing about the challenges our whole world faces in terms of how their lives would be affected, it just kind of blew my mind. I view the world so differently now that I've traveled, in that so much more of it is now a real place and something I've seen and tasted and lived in.
And so cosmetically, maybe people dress differently in Kenya than they do in Seattle, or people in Hong Kong eat very strange food compared to what I ate growing up in West Texas. But these are the kinds of things that are more cosmetic at the end of the day.
Before I left, I definitely had an interest in hopefully doing something to change the world for the better. After the fellowship, that idea evolved into wanting to serve the world in areas that I thought were underserved. And it was no longer something that I just sort of believed in, it was something that all I really wanted to pursue in my life.
I feel like the end result for me that was most meaningful is that I just have a greater love of this world and greater understanding of the complexity of this world.
Before leaving, I thought I was going to come home with a job lined up, with everything, but then again, that was my mentality. Okay, what's next? So suddenly when I came home and I have no job, I have nowhere to go, well, going back home, I think the traveling really helped me feel like, you know, regardless of where you are and what happens, it's going to be okay.
And it definitely left me with more wanderlust too. I'd like to see more of Europe, and then Africa is like a whole continent that I didn't even really set foot in except for Morocco and Egypt. This really just showed me the tip of the iceberg.
Having the opportunity to go and do this has truly been a life-changing experience. I never would have thought that one experience could have such an impact on my life, but it has.
You could get quite a few people in a rickshaw, up to 7, though that's not recommended. I think it's built to carry 3.